ये पल बीत जाएगा, ये वक्त गुज़र जाएगा, बस यादों भरा ये सफ़र रह जाएगा। ये पल बीत जाएगा, ये वक्त गुज़र जाएगा, बस यादों भरा ये सफ़र रह जाएगा। ना हम होंगे ना हमारी बातें, ना हम होंगे ना हमारी बातें, याद करने को बस ये लम्हा और ये इन डायलॉग रह जाएगा। और इसी को लेकर के इन डायलॉग के माइस्ट्रो सर भरत भार्गव।
Namaskar, I'm Bharat Bhargava. Welcome to In Dialogue. Today I have a guest, a gentleman who is well known in the Washington region, and yet when I got to know him in recent months, I decided people needed to take a closer look at him, this multifarious man that he is. I'm talking about Dr. Suresh Gupta, who earned his MBBS, which is equivalent to MD in America, at the age of 23, and for last 30 years he has been practicing medicine in Maryland. He is very passionate about his field because it gives him the ability to serve and make a difference in people's lives. He has in fact been named as the outstanding physician by Montgomery County, and the Maryland Senate cited him as a model of good citizenship. You know, even working 18 hours a day, I don't know how Dr. Gupta fits in so many interests and responsibilities. But you know how they say, if you want anything done, give it to the busiest person and it will be done. Same is the case with Dr. Gupta. He has been a Rotarian, he is involved in so many civic activities, philanthropy, religious activities. He is the co-founder and former president of Hindu Temple of Metropolitan Washington. Suresh ji is also an avid photographer, forever capturing pictures of people, of other God-made things, of man-made things, and combination of God-made and man-made things. Also, he loves music and dancing. Time permitting, I might sneak in an example of that, or maybe one or two examples of that, no thanks to Dr. Gupta himself. Well, you know, if I kept on going, I might use up my entire time in introducing, so I'll stop right here and say, welcome to In Dialogue, Suresh ji.
Pleasure, thank you.
It's such a pleasure to have you. So, starting from the headline, I understand you are in internal medicine as well as geriatrics?
That's correct.
Oh, good. Then if it's the geriatrics also, in a few decades, I'll be ready to benefit from your services too.
I doubt though. I think decades are pretty far away from you.
Oh, yeah,
You're only close to my age.
Oh, okay, all right. So, Suresh ji, you told me one time that the most momentous day in your life was the oath of appointment you took on the Maryland's Board of Physicians. Why is that so important?
I like the very theme of the state board or state boards in the country, where the mission statement is protect the public.
Protect the public.
Protect the public is, for example, the 6 million Marylanders. The consumers, they need to talk about their rights. If they are abused, if they are not well attended to, they have a place to report to, which is our state board. And the complaints are heard and their rights are protected, where governor appoint these members who sit on state boards. That is where I sit past 6 years, 7th year running.
Oh, wow. And I understood something that you mentioned, that the either policies of, call it code of conduct that you established have nationwide implications then.
Yes, that's true. In the entire country, there are total 71 boards, which are MD boards and DO boards, and District of Columbia, 71th board, 71st board. These boards are connected like a FDIC, that an action taken by a state board is reported to the federal agency, FSMB, Federation of State Medical Boards, in which the data is put in for National Data Practitioner Bank, NDBP, and that is where a a revoked physician, suspended physician, summarily fined physician cannot jump on hop state to state.
Oh, that's such a good thing.
So that's why we protect about 313 million Americans, not just Maryland. So every state has our jurisdiction one over the other.
Now I see why you consider it to be it's a momentous thing. Also, I know you are one of the rare inductees to the Maryland's Human Rights Hall of Fame. What is that all about?
Well, being a very strong advocate of human rights, I was appointed by our county executive of Montgomery County, Ike Leggett, on the Human Rights Commission,
Okay.
where I've been sitting 5+ years now. By my work in the community and the state and the other levels, I was recognized by the County Human Rights Commission in Human Rights Hall of Fame in October 2010,
Wow.
which I find be a good human advocacy right act individual, and it has been really a great journey, and there are 67 inductees so far in U.S. history.
Entire history, 67 only?
67 thus far, and I was pleased to be the first Indian and second South Asian.
Wow, that is powerful. Hall of Fame itself is awesome, but now that I see that such a small number, and obviously you can say, but I can say that they must have seen a lot of what you have offered and can offer to a field that you have such passion about. Sureshji, I know you are also on Indian Embassy's panel of physicians protecting precious sons and daughters of India. Of course, they're all precious, but these are more visible ones, such as the ambassadors and Anna Hazare and many others. Tell us a little bit more about that work.
Thank you. After starting practice in '86 and after settling down, I was picked by the embassy to be panel physician member, and it is my privilege to see our government officials from Embassy of India and our Rajduts, diplomats,
Yes.
and our ministerial from cabinet ministry coming from Delhi.
Also, when they are visiting, the VIPs, dignitaries
visiting here, I am available to them. There are a couple of instances I can share if you
Please do.
At some point when there was G20 meeting in Pittsburgh,
Yes.
and one of our PM team got sick, and he was brought to Washington, and I was contacted. I saw him in the office. I just felt
He was in bad shape.
Bad shape. So I had to put him in the hospital. It took about 12 hours to see him overnight, and within next morning he could attend the next meeting. And not to name the individual because he Pala, but turns out he's in high-ranking Prime Minister's office today.
Oh, wow.
So these things are being come with territory of being in
good.
Washingtonian, I guess.
But I had heard that also your work got involved one time when the Prime Minister was coming.
That's correct. There was Air India 1 was to land at Andrews Force Base. There was an emergency in the plane with one of our highly government-ranking officials.
Oh, okay.
And I was called.
Who accompanied the Prime Minister?
Accompanying the Prime Minister.
I see.
And when they were coming, and I was called in and arranged for some emergency help right at the Andrews Air Force Base, which was conveyed and connected and taken care of. I mean, I like these challenges, and working with our.
No, and now I understand that they're coming from India, and anybody could have had any emergency, and you're right there, and that is, I'm sure that must be very gratifying because you're not only serving humanity but serving the government of India. So, Sureshji, I also know recently you participated with President Clinton on some charitable activity, and I know you've been hobnobbing with the leaders toward this cause or the other. And also, by the way, I attended the reception you had done for the new ambassador on behalf of NCAIA, whose president you are. So, what is your vision about the activities of NCAIA?
Well, NCAIA is an umbrella organization of Indian American communities in Washington D.C. area, and we are one body having direct relations with the Embassy of India, elected officials in Virginia and or Maryland or nationwide. So we do activities here as together because together make one more voice and much loud voice.
And they can attend to it, then they don't have to decide between. So how many organizations are
there? 29 organizations, plus, which are many in the area, and we all group under one umbrella, and that is how we do it.
That's great. That's great. Sureshji, I read somewhere, and I'm going to not wing it, but read it. I brought it here. Your future goal is to work toward helping the poor, needy, and underprivileged here and in India. So if you had all the time in the world, what would you do in this respect?
Well, after working at the county level, doing health fairs, then state level, serving the state board, protecting the public, working as federation level. Once I get done with all, I think my ultimate goal would be to join Doctors Without Borders, so I can cross these US boundaries, go international and serve where I can offer my services.
So wonderful. That is so wonderful. There is so much need, and that kind of expertise, if that could be available, a lot of health problems can be solved. So now I'm going to go to the personal side. Sureshji's son, Sachin, is a doctor also, and his daughter, Seema, is a lawyer. Sureshji, one rumor I have heard, I want to check out with you here in public. And it's a rumor, something to the fact that you were so fascinated by Manav's love for Mansi in movie Tal that when you met your beloved Neelam Bagga, instead of saying to her, kneeling down, "Will you marry me?" you said, "Will you be my Mansi?" Something to that effect.
Well, you got me there.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? I'm going to show people something these lovebirds have been doing, and something more I'm sneaking in. Sureshji, you truly are a master of so many trades, and I'm so happy to have you on In Dialogue. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you, Bhargava. Thank you for inviting. It has been my pleasure and utmost pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.